All right, if I was going to name, let's talk Denver Broncos 38, rout the Atlanta Falcons. Kirk Cousins had a bad day, 38-6. So if I was voting coach of the year, Mike Tomlin would win my coach of the year. Sean Payton would be second. And Sean has texted me about 4 times this year, and I'm not going to get into everything he said, but he texted me again this week, and he said, I'm telling you, this kid's got a much better arm than all the analysts said. Colin, he can really sling it. Well, today, fourth game as a rookie, and this is a thin roster that's in cap hell, scarcity of draft picks last year and this year. Fourth game of 70-plus completion percentage, 2 TDs, no picks. That ties the greatest in the modern era. Only one other rookie quarterback has done that. Bo Nix today, John, he 7 yards per play, Denver's offense. Again, this is a 5-win team. They're 28-33. Bo Nix was today, 4 touchdowns, no picks. And I want to go back. He outplayed Mahomes last week. Is that nobody is talking about Bo Nix. But if this continues, it will not be Jaden Daniels, who appears to have hit a ceiling, right? Like we've seen him now in the bigger games. Bo Nix, if you look at their schedule, it's not easy. There was one point in the third quarter I looked up. He was 17-19. That's an NFL game. I'm like, what in the hell? The kid is, first of all, he is way more athletic than anybody wants to admit. And I watched his arm today because Sean had texted me and said, I think his arm is better than people think. He made a couple of throws today. And by the way, Aaron Rodgers' arm got stronger from Cal to the NFL. It happens.
Brady's arm definitely got stronger over the course.
There's no question. I watched Bo Nix today. I'm like, that's not only a franchise quarterback, that's a top 12 quarterback in the league, potentially for the next decade.
I thought the best throw so far of like his young career was the 4th touchdown where he scrambled and threw it across his body. And you're like, God, that looks like a Mahomes or Allen.
Stafford.
Rip like that.
Yeah.
And this is where coaching is so key. You know, what did Oregon do a lot with them? Run those quick screens. Well, Sean Payton got 2 touchdowns off that today. And the first one hit and they went to the red zone, ran it essentially. I mean, it was a little different play, but essentially the same thing. Like that's coaching. Do what he's good at. Because what did we talk about with Russell Wilson? Getting the ball out of your hand fast. That's actually not an easy pass. You know, it's in your hand off right away. Sometimes you don't even get to grip the laces. And I had a buddy text me. He's like, I put a decent amount on him at 14-1 to win the rookie of the year. I'm feeling pretty good. Well, I'm like, well, Caleb's out of it. And if Jaden keeps trending like this team's winning 10 games. They still got the Raiders. They still got the Panthers on the schedule.
They're getting
the
better.
Last game is the Chiefs. Who knows? Maybe the Chiefs, don't need to play for that game. Maybe they had the 1 seed wrapped up. Yeah, their defense is good. The team's just good. I mean, that's what we talked about earlier with Caleb, where you could have a bad loss and parlay that. But Denver, deep down, like, unlike the Bears, they didn't think their season was over. Denver's like, shit, we are right there. And they came today. They beat the living crap out of Atlanta today. And listen, Atlanta's got one and done written all over them in the playoffs. But that was, if the quarterback is going to be efficient like that, because I was with you. I looked up and it said 17 of 19. I'm like, this is Jared Goff 2.0 going right now. Yeah. But the running back, if they can run the ball and their defense plays like this, who is going to want to play in the playoffs? Jim Harbaugh and Sean Payton in round 1. And I both of them are going to be on the road, probably the 6 and 7 seed.
Yeah.
But you talk about playing 2 coaches with good defenses on the road. Good luck. And is it really shocking? We're recording this before the Charger game, but Charger a playoff team.
Yeah.
That you look at some of these teams like, oh yeah, the 2 coaches making a combined, $35 million resurrected the franchises. No, I mean, this league isn't that complicated. Now, both of them, Jim got Herbert and obviously Sean picked a quarterback. And I think Sean, can rub some people around the league the wrong way.
Yeah.
But he believed in the guy when, let's face it, a lot of people did not. A lot of scouts like, dink and dunk guy, he's 30 years old. And you watch him, you're like, and this is what Oregon people say. If you just take out the quick screens, watch him move around. Like his statistics at Oregon were just pretty insane.
Also, he had multiple, I think between Auburn and Oregon, he had 5 different offensive coordinators.
He did.
And Sean's demanding. Remember how much Russell Wilson, and Russell's a smart guy. Remember how much trouble Russell had where Sean's like, dude, you have to take a wristband out there. Remember that was a big bone of contention. Like Russell wasn't getting the plays off fast enough.
Well,
And
how
so
about 2 weeks ago when he snapped on Bo Nix and Bo Nix snapped back, and then after he's like, I loved it.
yeah. So, I mean, obviously Sean's system is not easy. I mean, Drew Brees comes on my show. He's on my show tomorrow on FS1 on Monday. And Sean has said, I mean, Drew has said, like it's hard. Like Sean's demanding. He will snap. And I don't think a lot of these, I'm just telling you, without giving up everything he said, Sean has, he, right after they drafted him, he said, we got a guy. And about every 3 weeks, Sean will text me. He did this week. And this week he said, boy, his arm, it's really, he is snapping stuff off.
It has to be, I mean, assuming that, Coach Reed's going to keep coaching. I don't, this guy loves football more than any human alive. As long as he's healthy, going to coach for a while. How many times in NFL history have we seen, especially if they coach against each other, let's just say for like a 5-year stretch, Andy Reid, Sean Payton, and Jim Harbaugh? Like, good luck, Mark Davis. Go get him in that division with those 3 guys. I mean, Andy's a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, I'm pretty confident if Jim Harbaugh can keep Herbert healthy and they got a decent chance to win a Super Bowl these next 5 years. And Denver, I mean, probably going to be a playoff team moving forward. I mean, you're talking about Hall of Fame coaches, like great coaches. I mean, Harbaugh has a chance to go as like one of the true great coaches of all time. How many guys can go back and forth like that? Andy's easily established himself. I mean, when it's all said and done, like in the history of the league, is Andy a top 3 or 4 coach ever?
Yes.
I mean, Sean Payton resurrected the Saints and won a Super Bowl and turned them into
In
a real
one
franchise.
season.
So it's
they
like,
were the worst team in the league. I think he won 11 games his first year with them, or 10 games, and he may have gotten to a conference championship the first year and lost.
I think one thing, and you saw, at the end of Sean's run, Drew Brees ultimately it wasn't as good anymore, but their defense was awesome. Harbaugh, their defense is always awesome. The majority of Andy Reid's career has been Jim Johnson and Spagnuolo, offensive coaches that place a premium on defense. And this is why, like, Kyle and McVay have had so much success. They're offensive guys, but they have no problem in spending there, investing in there, drafting there, because it makes your job easier. Like, it's a lot easier to win today when you're Sean Payton, even though your quarterback's having one of the best games of the season. When the other team's scoring 6 points, you could have the shittiest offensive performance of the year and win that thing 9-6. So, offensive coaches that place a premium on defense have always been the type guy that I like.